Hello again now. Let's return to the main story of the day, the reaction of the world to the upcoming presidency of Donald Trump in the US. President Putin has said he would like to see relations between Russia and America mended. That after Moscow was accused of meddling in the election. With more, here's Ilya Petrenko.
The highlight of the campaign that finally wrapped up was that it was so heavily focused on Russia. It was counted how many times the words Russia and Putin were brought up during the Clinton-Trump debates. It was 178 times. That's compared to Islamic State, which I suppose still remains the #1 threat for America, mentioned 132 times. But in what sense was Russia brought up? When it comes to Clinton, one of the hooks of her campaign was essentially putting it this way: you're either with me or with evil Vladimir Putin. And so many TV channels and many other media jumped on the bandwagon. The whole email scandal, that's because of Russian hackers. The WikiLeaks releasing Clinton compromising data, that makes Assange a Russian agent. And so Putin is at it, and he's scheming because he is in a bromance with Donald Trump. Well, the fact that Donald Trump won goes to show that American voters didn't buy it. Or maybe they had more important things to care about than allegations of Putin stealing the poll from them. Possibly that's because the Clinton team couldn't really prove Kremlin was derailing her campaign. But that didn't stop some carrying on, even when the votes have been counted.
This is the first election in which an enemy power deliberately and explicitly interfered in our election and got away with it.
Russian President Vladimir Putin playing a central role in the 2016 campaign.
But take a look at these stories. If you read through these headlines, you may get an idea that it's not only Trump's victory, but also Russia's victory, and everyone in Moscow is celebrating. On top of that, a senior editor at the Daily Beast website was spotted watching RT's coverage of the vote count, to which he replied on Twitter that he was forced to do so or he'll get fired otherwise. Remember that RT was also dragged into this blame game when Clinton's team accused us of publishing WikiLeaks materials earlier than the website itself, which wasn't true. But this hysteria and continuing attempts to give Vladimir Putin credit for Trump's triumph is being echoed in Europe, not only by journalists, but by Angela Merkel, who's warned the Kremlin could meddle in the upcoming elections in her country.
We are already, even now, having to deal with information out of Russia, or with internet attacks that are of Russian origin, or with news which shows false information. So it may be that this could also play a role during the election campaign.
We're only left to wonder which country's next, and where else we're going to hear Putin, Kremlin, Russia at candidate debates thousands of miles away from Moscow.
That was Ilya Petrenko there. Well, Donald Trump supporters were swayed by big promises and anti-establishment rhetoric, but can he act on those pledges? It won't be easy, as Yan Shiqian now reports.
Donald Trump is looking to step into office with powerful forces lined up against him, among them corporations, Washington Warhawks, and major media outlets. But many wonder how many of his campaign pitches will actually materialize. Reversing trade deals is one of Trump's main pledges.
I am going to withdraw the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I'm going to tell our NAFTA partners that I intend to immediately renegotiate the terms of that agreement to get a better deal by a lot, not just a little, by a lot for our workers.
The trade deals have benefited large corporations, while Americans saw their manufacturing jobs shipped overseas. And President-elect Trump will have the power to kill the deals even if Congress disagrees. Raising taxes on Wall Street giants is part of Trump's plan.
It reduces or eliminates most of the deductions and loopholes available to special interests and to the very rich. In other words, it's going to cost me a fortune.
To do that, Trump will need Congress and may face opposition there, as many lawmakers received money from Wall Street for their election campaigns. On foreign policy, Trump will be confronted by Washington's influential war hawks, as throughout his campaign he has challenged many policies that they hold dear.
It's time to shake the rust off America's foreign policy. I believe an easing of tensions and improved relations with Russia from a position of strength only is possible, absolutely possible. Some say the Russians won't be reasonable. I intend to find out.
And NATO, Trump demands that members of the alliance pay up, or else.
Now, at some point, they may have to protect themselves. Do I like that? Not particularly. But we cannot afford it as a country.
Trump's idea of building a wall on the border with Mexico was mocked in Washington at the beginning of his campaign. But now that he's been elected president, many wonder if Congress could prevent him from following through with the pledge.
The ideas and promises that Donald Trump put forward to get elected flew in the face of the Washington establishment, and American voters liked it. But to deliver on those promises, Trump might now need the establishment, at least to a certain extent. Will he get it, or will he hit a brick wall? In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan, RT.
Meanwhile, many celebrities have taken to social media to vote their frustration over the result of the election. J.K. Rowling, for example, has in the past compared Trump to the villain from her Harry Potter series and has now called for hate speech not to become normal. Singer and actress Cher feels sad for the young as the world would never be the same, she thinks. Katy Perry urged people to engage in positive activism. And Lindsay Lohan called for a recount of the vote. Well, the result came as a major shock for Clinton and her supporters as the pollsters and the mainstream media all downplayed the chances of a Trump victory.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Can Donald Trump win a general election? My view is no.
It's been throughout this campaign. The map still favors Hillary Clinton.
Right now, we have Hillary's about a 75 or an 80% favorite. We have different versions of the forecast you can look at.
It's hard to play out the scenarios where he defeats her in the popular vote.
You have to say advantage Clinton as we head into these final hours.